What does that sound, you ask? From the number one station, you come.
Welcome to the Rec Show podcast, a show dedicated to beat makers around the world. Kick back, relax with the host Gold in mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Hey, here we go. Okay. No, matter of fact, here's how I want to come in, man. I just want to come in like
in the Midwest,
this.
boy, it gets cold. I'm talking about cold. Make you change your. What is this? Ain't Johnny Carson, mother.
Yeah.
Man, it get cold when you go outside. The wind be waiting on your ass around the corner like this. Here it comes.
Yo, bro. Bro. Like, yo, we got these change-ups, bro.
Yeah.
No, let me get into this introduction, man. I just wanted to get an internet something different, man. Because listen, everybody, welcome back to the Rec Show podcast, man. Today we're running it back with a returning guest. You already know him as a dope music producer, live performer, content creator, educator. He's like a live event curator. I mean, husband, father. I mean, what else you want to throw at him, man? Like he carrying it, man. So, I did an interview with him 2 years ago, in 2024, man. If y'all haven't listened to that episode, go all the way back and check it out in our archives, man. But we sat down, chopped it up, and then since then, life has been happening. He's still been creating. He's still live performing at multiple different shows. He's still curating. Like, I see him on Instagram with his, his family, man. They vibing in the live event atmosphere, man. Beautiful to see. He's just been on a serious grind, man. And then this year alone, he dropped an album, Beat Pimpin'. If y'all haven't heard, bruh, y'all need to go check out Beat Pimpin'. And then he got a latest project called Frigid. Both of these are on Bandcamp, and you can find Frigid on all your streaming platforms and stuff like that. But go support it on Bandcamp first, man. But this episode is all about part 2. Seeing the growth, the evolution, new directions with California's own Erozilla, aka E+RO 3. I'm gonna let him say his moniker, man, because I can say it, but it sounds so dope coming from you, man. But let's get into it with Erozilla, man. Welcome back to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, I appreciate the introduction. That was very, very regal, if you will. My name is E+RO 3. If you've seen it before written, it's written out as E with the plus sign, RO equals 3, which is the real acronym of my real name, Eddie Ross III. Also known as Erozilla, because if you think you ill, E+RO
is illa.
That's right, Erozilla. So I'm just a creative. You know what I mean? I create music, I create visuals. I'm like he was saying, I teach, I curate live events. I'm an organizer. I'm a community activist. I do free children's programs every single week in Leimert Park. And I've been kind of juggling all of these different crafts for, better part of 5-10 years now, per se. Been making music, though, for almost, I'd say, 30 years now. And I have a lot of projects that I tend to drop. Some of them are on all digital streaming. Some of them are just exclusively on the Bandcamp. The latest project is called Beat Pimping, and it's of course it's a quadruple entendre with the name, because I think people catch the name as pimping, they kind of think of the clown aspect of it, if you will, per se, but it's really telling a history, a not so told or not so clearly told history about, I'd say, Black America coming from the 60s into the 70s into the 80s. And the music itself is kind of like a journey from the sort of explaining what it is or the philosophy of it all the way to the character kind of redeeming himself at the very, very end. And it's told through different blaxploitation sound bites that I have dipped through the whole album, if you will, kind of telling us. So that's called Beat Pimping. That's on all digital platforms. The latest project is just a single. It's called Frigid. I made it about a year or so ago in the winter time. The time is really, really cold. Of course, it's not so cold now. But it was I'd heard the stand up that Richard Pryor had did live on Sunset Strip, and I just took a little piece out of there where he was talking about going back to Chicago and how cold it was coming out of the airport, and I just threw that into the kind of song. And the actual track is it's a flip of The Hop by Tribe Called Quest on the I believe that's Midnight Marauders album that was produced by Large Professor. So check all that out. It's on all streaming platforms. So that's what's up with me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to be back on the show. The last podcast was great. You know, we did it during COVID time, so it was like kind of the world was a lot different back then, but you know, so here we are now.
Yeah, man. Yo, you you still doing so much, man. Like, it's great to see that, you know, you doing all of these different things. I'm always tapped in. You know, if they had a music community like y'all have in Leimert Park and your surrounding areas here, man, like I would be there every weekend, man. Like it's amazing to see just the different acts and you performing up there and vibing and stuff like that. But yo, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to, you know, to chop it up with you again, man. It's my honor, man. You you a legend in this game, man. So you know, I'm just a sponge, man. I'm a sponge soaking up all the knowledge that you have and the inspiration and everything like that, man. So thank you again, man.
Hey man, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. You know, and you know, nobody take you lightly as well in the beats. You've dropped some nice little projects as well. Your last one is very nice. You know, we'll chat about that a little bit before we're done as well.
Yes, sir.
You know, sometimes when we're music creators, I would say new millennial style creators, if you will, because it's kind of based on digital stuff, digital softwares, and it's just based on technology, if you will. Mm-hmm. I find myself in a very unique position in the sense that I learned how to make music and perform music in a very, I would say, hostile music environment, like Project Blowed style beats where we weren't just playing beats in front of each other. We were always competing. So at any moment, like if they didn't like what you were playing, they would boo you, like literally. So it was like I kind of learned how to have a showmanship from it, if you will. And so when I'm performing my music, you know, I think that kind of is self-explanatory when you see it. But yeah, I got a lot of things I want to talk about. So I want to let you go ahead and start off with the things that's on your mind.
I got you. Man. So, okay, since our last conversation, man, you know, what's been the biggest shift in your creative process, man?
I would say, let me see, the biggest shift. Well, okay, I'm recalling our last episode of stuff we were talking about. I've went through a couple of different, what I would consider trainings, if you will. I've done a couple of festivals, if you will. Like last year, I rocked the first annual X-Fest music festivals up in Nevada City, California, about a half hour outside of Sacramento, and it was primarily, I would say, rock-based type of festival. However, one of my good brethren curated they gave him the green light to curate his own stage, so he did a lo-fi stage. And so he brought me and a couple of beat makers from LA up there. Kershawn the Don was with me. Also, Nod Your Head was with me as well.
Nice.
And they gave us what I would consider a royal treatment for considering we were coming from out of town. Paid us nicely, gave us all the amenities we needed. It was a different experience. You know what I mean? We even had they had a show later that night, like an after show, where they had the locals playing and the local DJs were playing and the dance floors were packed. And these weren't young folks per se. These were like 40s and 50s out there doing their thing. So it was kind of an interesting town because, it was just a very, very unique experience because of, the geographic location of where it's at. So also earlier this year, I did just a few weeks ago, I did Rhymefest LA 2025. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Rhymefest LA, I would consider it like the Rock the Bells for LA, for the hardcore 90s, 2000s, like underground hip hop heads. So it featured literally over hundreds of acts. Ghostface and Raekwon were the top billing. Murs from Living Legends has put it together over the past 10 years plus or whatnot. So anyway, this year they had a beats and break stage for the beat makers, and so it was about 30 of us. That was curated by my man MC Random. Shout out Random, shout out Beat Sync. And so I was part of the first wave of live beat makers to play at Rhymefest, which I'm sure year after year is going to get really, really big. It was over 10,000 people there at the LA Coliseum.
Wow.
So I would say I've sharpened up my penmanship or my showmanship, if you will, a lot in doing live beats. Another thing I have started doing, and I'm diving into wholeheartedly, is teaching. Is teaching beat making, or what we call digital music production. And so I've curated both a 6-week course and a 2-week course that I've piloted at a couple of different art centers here in the LA area that were successful. And so now I have an entity that I'm calling the E+RO Beat Academy. And basically I'm teaching introduction courses as well as a performance-based course at 3 different locations in Los Angeles: Chaos Network in Leimert Park, Juju Social Club in West Jefferson, and Trade School in Altadena. That's starting in October, going into the fall, and then hopefully starting back in January, and it will go on the side of the regular school times. I've also curated a third beat-based event called Lo-Fi Dena. And it's based in Altadena, California, which of course we're going to have a word about that regarding the fires and what's going on afterwards. And it's basically what I consider a hardware-only open ox for beat makers like myself. So when I say hardware only, I don't mean like you have to come with beat machines only. It's just I don't want people to come like, let me play this off my phone or something like that. Like, this is kind of like a performance type of training thing. And I've done about 4 of them so far, and it's been magnificent. So it's called Lo-Fi Dena. It's basically what I started Soul Clap a couple of years ago, what it would have manifested into, so to speak. You remember when I did Soul Clap as well?
Absolutely. Yes,
I ran into some issues regarding the name or whatever. That's why I kind of had to pivot, if you will. But that's a long story. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I got those. I got the classes starting, and yeah, I'm doing X-Fest again in Nevada City in October 3rd. Shout out B-Boy Supreme and KVMRX in Nevada City for putting that together. So
shout out to them, man. Wow. Wow. Well, okay. So since we're talking about the the Beat Academy, what is it that? First of all, congratulations, Joe, because that's a big deal. I don't know if the internet's really understand what it takes to get a class um through. I guess it's through. We call it in Texas. We call them ISDs. ISDs, but like the Department of Education type of situations. Like it takes a lot of work. You got to go to a lot of meetings. Probably you got to talk to so many different people. You got to have, hey, how much is it going to cost for funding? Where are you going to do it at? Is it safe? Is it secure? Who's allowed to come? All these different type of scenarios. But I wanted to ask you, man, like, what is it that you hope your students are going to take away from your E+RO Beat Academy, man? Hey yo, what up everybody? Golden Mind here. Listen, if you're enjoying this conversation, please subscribe wherever you're listening. It helps more people discover the show and keeps our community going strong. And if you want to show your support, head over to our support page by clicking support the show. Every dollar and share helps fund the work and keeps me bringing amazing voices to the mic. But here's the cool part. You can even text the show if you have a question, feedback, or just want to show some love. Hit me up directly by clicking the Be a Homie and let us know what you think link. I'll be checking those messages, yo. And who knows, you might even hear your name shout out on a future episode. So subscribe, support the movement, and join me in this journey. Let's keep building, sharing the stories of our beat making culture and community. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah.
Well, the first thing is that I appreciate the students and their families, their parents, or whoever it is, have enough faith in me to, to have their loved one in the space to even do this. So that's like off top. I'm very, very grateful for that. It's basically, I'm not promising anything. So I'm not saying I'm going to make you a star and you're not going to be the next, Dr. Dre or whatnot. I'm just sharing basic tools that I know that people can use regardless of what type of DAW or what type of hardware you use. And it's just more or less like how to put together a drum beat type of thing. How to make your own loops, how to formulate your own bass lines, how to add in vocal samples if you can, something like that. So each course is designed where we're focused on one area, and then at the end of the course we put it together and have a showcase type of thing. The benefits of it is I'm going to give you a free digital audio workstation, your free DAW. So I have licenses to offer a couple of different free ones. If you have your own, DAWs, your own hardware, whatever, of course, bring that, as long as you can download the sample pack, which is the second part that I give the students, is a free personalized Erozilla sound pack. So it's kind of like the gift in the course, because of course, after the course is done and over, you can do whatever you want with those sounds. So yeah, the idea honestly is I'm trying to reach the people who are going to do this because of the technology in the future. And I believe that digital music production will be a very big industry in itself, that will eventually be monetized somehow, some way. I feel like I want to get to those people before AI and before non-natural ways of doing it take completely over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Completely over. Because the thing about AI is it's I think we're tapping deeper into it, but the thing about it, it's been with us for a long time and we've used it in different ways. We just didn't consider that. And I think people like myself who've been making music for a while, we know how to use it to enhance the art, if you will, but we understand that it itself is not the art, and what we do is based around that. And I think that can be easily confused by, the new generation because they're kind of born into this. And so it's our job, from the analog world to show the new students of music that there is roots to where these sounds and stuff come from and abilities, and they need to be understand it, what I'm saying, and respect it, because you will be that much more effective as a creator if you understand that. So that's pretty much it. I feel like me as an artist and as a beat maker, my goals initially were very modest. I was just a MySpace producer or whatnot. So making music and people on the other side of the world, that was big to me. You know what I'm saying? I never had dreams of touring the world and field stadiums or whatever. Hopefully, that may come eventually. But so I'm saying that to say my aspirations as an artist, I pretty much accomplished a whole lot of them in a modest way. So now it's time for me to kind of show and teach what I know to these up and coming artists, and they can take that and put it in their bag and go forth. Because art is going to reshape the world that we're in through art, audio art, visual art, whatnot. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I wanna ask, okay, is there an age restriction? Is it in person, or is it online, or what?
Good
what
question.
Is it?
Well, it is in person. So this is exclusively right now for folks in the Los Angeles area. I have taught students as young as 6, as old as 65. And what I found is that it's best when I group them amongst certain ages. This go around is more or less for students 12 and above. I'm doing a separate course for younger kids, and I'm kind of designing now, which is more Foley based, more natural sounds based versus more electronic, because there's you do have to have some type of laptop or something like that to download the DAWs and download the samples and stuff like that. So younger children may not be up to par on that per se. So yeah, they're and then I've found that people over a certain age, who's kind of coming back to music making in a certain way, they gel a lot easier with the younger kids. I would say the young adults kind of are in a class of their own, if that kind of makes sense. So, but I don't have any restrictions. So I can have the 6-year-old sitting right next to the 66-year-old in the class with everybody else in the middle. And the thing about it is I prefer the classes to be as intimate as possible. So there is more or less designed for 5 to 10 students at a time per se. It's not like I'm not doing any 101s or something like that. It's not like it's offered as private tutoring, which probably get to that shortly. But I just want it to be in a comfortable environment, and those locations that I'm doing it in are very, very comfortable. So yeah. Gotcha,
man. That's this sounds awesome. I feel like this is just a stepping stone to something even bigger. Do you see this? This Beat Academy, recurring into, the different Los Angeles schools and into a larger movement? Is that the vision?
I do. I call it the Beat Academy because ultimately I want to have a campus. I want to have a school, a literal school, like School of X-Men, a school for the gifted.
You going Professor X on them, huh? Yeah.
I mean, in a sense, so I'm kind of doing that on a small scale. It's just at different locations per se, and I'm doing pop-ups. When I say pop-ups, I'm going to different events, festivals, or whatnot. I'll have my tent, and I have business cards for each one. You can sign up for each one. Hopefully, I'll have my merch for my own, my personal art as well. So I'm doing these to sign people up for the classes. So depending on where I'm at, if I'm doing one that's close to this location, then that's where I'm going to channel the signups for, and then I'll do one at a different location. So when I'm not doing the classes themselves, I'll be out prospecting students and stuff for the classes per se, if I'm not performing or whatnot. It's in a strange way, all of it together is a full-time thing. Again, and let's be clear, beat making and digital music production is traditionally something not taught in schools per se. So what I did was I got the idea that I can market it to schools and to institutions like a regular class. I didn't go to school for it or have any degrees or anything for this per se, but I feel like I'm credentialed to do it. And the way that I presented it, almost everyone was super excited to hear it. Like, we've never had anything like this before. Like, yeah, it's not been done like this before per se. So in a sense, I'm kind of bullying schools to let me do this, in a sense. Like, all right, it sounds crazy, whatever, but you don't want to be the school to pass on this. And then you'll see 5-10 years when the academy is up. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of it is wishful thinking, but I've learned in life that wishful thinking, once you've put it out there and shared those ideas with certain entities and folks, it's gotten in motion to happen, per se. So
Awesome, man. Yo, this is Professor X I'm talking to right now, man. Come on.
And feel free, you guys, you can support the academy, you can support my art, you can support anything I'm doing. All of the different apps are under Soul Clap LA. Of course, I'll give all the information out towards the end of it. But yeah, it's a worthy cause of what it's doing. Everything will be tax deductible that you give to the academy. I'm working all that out right now, per se. But I feel like it'll be up legitimately and everything. I'm working on a 5-year plan to put everything together, per se. So yeah.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Listen, internets, go support Erozilla, man. Support him on Bandcamp. He's got a payment thing on his link tree as well, man, where you can donate as well, man. Anything help. I mean, he's giving it back to the community, man. I mean, like, come on, man. It's a win-win.
On my link tree, if you guys, you can just add Erozilla on most sites, or just Google Erozilla, Erozilla. I have a Ko-fi site where you can do one-time donations. You can do monthly subscriptions of any amount. I got a couple of people doing $1 a month or something like that, kind of just, hey, I know it's not a lot, but it is support. And I'm like, I appreciate that type of thing. Anything helps. I got a lot of music, as has come out since the last podcast we did. I'm going to run through just a couple of them, and we'll talk about the ones you want to. So I think the last one I did was The Moving Tree. I know we had talked about Sincerely Eddie, Beat Bully, Demolition Man, Sound Bending. Since then, I've released the Intergalactic Adventures of Super E+RO. I've released Mind, Body, and Soul. I've released Superheroes. I've released Erozilla subtitle project. I've released a couple of Sincerely Eddie projects, which are my back in the day flipped projects. They're all exclusively on Bandcamp. I have 5 volumes of it. And those will trip you out. You know what I mean? No matter how old you are. I've released Beat Bully 2 as well. I've done a ballads album, Sincerely Eddie. So I have R&B flips from the 80s and 90s. I've released Bowtie as well. I have one called Sincerely Eddie Goat Flips. So like this greatest songs growing up flips. Beat Pimping, Frigid. And my next 2 projects before the end of the year, hopefully, one of them that I've been working on for a long time, I call it the One Man Band. It's a double album, and hopefully I can get it pressed on vinyl. I'm looking at that, no date on that yet. And I have a compilation album, a compilation of lyricists and singers entitled Voices of Fire. And that will be out hopefully by October, November as well. And that one's, I'm not going to name the names on there, but that one's going to be super duper crazy. I feel like this is my first time doing a project as a what we would call a standard industry music producer, where I'm producing music for vocalists, engineering, and doing the everything on it on that, not just me, playing my beats and whatnot. So yeah, why do you release so much music? Bro, these are just beats, like these aren't like fully studio, get this cured, this cleared and all this and touched in for it, but this is beats I'm making in my bed, literally. I just put together and send out.
Bruh, come on.
And
Man.
most
Like,
beat makers,
these
most beat
joints
makers understand it. They don't have to. But it's like a lot of people who are a lot of like, do you put out a lot of music? I'm like, well, I make a lot of music first off, and I was in a situation where I thought that I would not be able to put out any more music at some point. So I'm like, why not? So anyway, that's kind of like the way I think about it. Also, I wanted to touch on this as well. I don't know if you caught this. This was about a month or so ago, almost 2 months ago, but I was a part of the Serato audio effects series, which was done by Tech Lemert and sponsored by Undefeated Clothing. It was in Inglewood. It was about almost 2 months ago, and it was a 3-day weekend of it was over 80 different students, student mentors there. We had speakers there, ranging from Dame Funk, Lena Fornia, Amber from the Moonchild, Sarah Too Ill, hosted by True Sound, local LA, and it was magnificent, bro. Like 3 full days, we were just all about beats. They gave us all the free software we needed to make beats. At the end, we had like a huge session where everybody was playing their beats. We're putting together a compilation right now, actually, that will be out at the beginning of 2026. That's curated by DJ Battlecat. And these are all the participants from the actual classes. It's going to be submitting beats in it. So I have a whole on my stories, the highlights. I have a whole thing about that. It was incredible. That was the most incredible creative time I had with other like-minded artists. The closest thing I can compare to it was like, this was when J. Cole did the Dreamville projects. He's had everybody locked up in his crib.
In the studio, yeah, I remember that.
This was the closest thing to it. Like, we have breakout rooms, everybody is just locked in, flipping stuff. It was amazing. So a lot of stuff's going to come out of that, that as well. Again, shout out to Tech Lemert, shout out to Serato, shout out to Serato Studio. It was great, so yeah, I've been very fortunate this year as a creative to be a part of a lot of different things like this, and that's why I feel the need to share what I do and what I know to others who seek just have creativity inside of them, and that's the best way we can navigate what's going on outside the creative world is to stay connected in it. And the creative world, it's deeper than just people, like it's a vibration that we share, that we can relate to, even if we've never met or even know them. You know what I'm saying? It's sound, and sound is uncontained. So,
man, you definitely doing an amazing job of documenting your journey. I think that was one of the questions I had in here, so you already took care of that one. But I just wanted to find out like what it was like to lock in with, Serato and that many creative beings, man. Like, man, wow, man.
It was great because we ate together. They gave us some great meals. We did a whole lot together that I guess before the internet, it was kind of like taboo to share your creative processes with with
Uh-huh.
other creatives, let alone with the world per se. But I think the way that we're trying to do it now, it's like sharing it's fun. Like, in fact, I was against sharing the process for a long time. Like, really, I thought, in my mind, it was kind of like, giving away the magic, if you will, per se. But
Right.
um, looking at it now in a more mature light, I feel like it's only can help out yourself and others who do what you do. I don't worry about people like, biting my ideas or sounds or anything like that. I really, really don't, to be honest. It used to be a thing, about it, but I'm like, I just feel like I'm inspiring, and or I'm being inspired by, because I can use anything for sound, like literally anything. It's not limited to anything. And that's why I love being a beat maker. Is that my inspiration can come from anything. If I don't have any ideas, I'll just go back to something I did years ago and just redo it. Some can be done different. Go to an old song, take the drums out, put my new drums in, or slow it up, or whatever. Just modify it. Like that stuff that becomes projects. A lot of
Hmm.
projects that I release are literally just modified and updated stuff that I did years ago that nobody heard. And that's fun. You know what I mean? I told my man T. Einzoff, shout out to Love Supreme, by the way. I know that they're
Yeah.
folks as well.
Shout
I
out to
told him,
them.
like, I had a mission that I wanted to remix or flip like all the songs from my childhood that gave me joy, and I've done a whole lot about it, and I haven't released a whole lot of it yet. But it's fun. You get lost in it. Like I'll pull out the Earth, Wind, and Fire joint, and I'm playing it, and then before I know it, I'm 3 hours just dazing and just in a daze in a loop, because I'm thinking about the house party Mama Pop had back in '79, and I'm envisioning all the neighbors getting down or something. Like, I just get lost in nostalgia. Whatever. Oh, I forgot what the hell I'm doing. Like stuff like that I enjoy doing when I'm making music. Is I get lost a lot of times in the sound itself and in the nostalgia. Um, whether I'm using samples, whether I'm playing the music myself, you know, I'm one of those guys that I used to have a preference, because I started off being a sample-based beat maker, but I do both now. And it's interesting because I'll go through phases creatively where all I want to do is just play my own sounds only. And I'll have projects that reflect that. And then I'll go through stages where I'll get inspired, like I am right now, to do more digging and find more different sounds to sample and to flip and to, tear apart and restructure. And it's just interesting being this type of creative, because I don't think other art forms can stretch out their creativeness like that. They probably can, but not like that. Like, I think let's say you're a rapper, you're a lyricist, I don't know if there's so many different ways that you can change up your delivery or change up your pitch of the voice, or your words, or even change up the words themselves. It's like, I think it's kind of, I don't know, I'm not going to say it's limited to that, but I just think that, excuse me one second. I just think that same thing with vocalists, singers. I think that there's only so many different ways, you can do that, per se. Where what I do, I feel like it's unlimited. Like, I don't even need sounds to make beats. Like, meaning I don't need multiple sounds. I had a drill that I did with some students a long time ago, where I just did a kick drum. I don't know if I told you this before, or if I said this last time. Just a kick drum, just a boom. And I said, all right, so watch this. I took that one kick, I copied it like 10 times. The first copy, I chopped it, nailed it down, and I added a lot of low end to it. So now, boom. So I have my kick drum. Second one, I chopped it down, I nailed it up, raised the pitch up like 3 or 4 octaves. So now it's bing, bing, chopped it down, so now I have my snare. I did all that, etc. Had my hats and stretched it out, played it in the keyboard octaves, made a full beat out of it. Just the kick drum. I'm like, that's the art that I do.
Right.
I can use all the different stuff, pay thousands of money, yet the DAW, the digital audio workstation, is my brain. Like we had said before, when we were talking about gear, which I don't like to really talk about that, but like my man Ross G said, it's not the gear, it's the ear. Funny thing is what's resurfacing now is Madlib's interview. I know you probably recently saw it. We was talking about, yeah, man, I make all my beats on the iPad, like literally, like all those albums you heard, like just stored sounds on the iPad. And it's like a lot of cats, have messed up a lot of cats, because it's like I know a lot of so-called music producers who have the most extravagant studios and spend a lot of money or stuff on stuff. And to me, the music doesn't really reflect all that. So to each his own, you know what I mean? I just feel like I feel like music reflects what's truly inside of you. And what's inside of you, you should be able to bring out. It don't take much to bring out. For me, I've never had expensive equipment. I've never had a what we would consider studio, working state-of-the-art studio or a multi-track studio. Never, bro. I've done everything that you've heard from me. Literally, my computer DAW. I used to work on Sony Vegas. I work on Serato Studio now. SP4 for all the SPs. Just my little performance-based stuff. That's really, really it. You know what I mean?
That's all you really need.
It's really, really it. All the I've sampled different sounds over the years. Came in, brought a keyboard, played this, saved that. Brought a bass guitar, did 3 or 4 licks on it, saved that. Done that hundreds of times over the years. So I have a extravagant library of sounds. You know what I mean? It's almost like. But the funny part about it is, and I guess this is what all creators have in common, is no matter how much sounds and how much stuff you get, you always are hungry for more. And that's kind of like why we stay digging, because, I just feel like my best beat is my next beat. And I feel that way even after I make my next beat. And no matter, I say this all the time, no matter what I'm doing in life, I'm always in the middle of making a beat. If you see me out in the street, you see me somewhere, wherever, like, I'm waiting to get back home to finish this beat. Like, always. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Shout out to all my beat heads worldwide. You guys kind of understand that itch.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes, but for the most part, it stays. I don't necessarily need things in life anymore to give me motivation to make music. I used to, like, honestly, like, music for me used to come out of dark places, or like when I'm not particularly doing my best personally. You know what I'm saying? Ironically. But now it's like, you can't really tell what I'm going through personally now in my music, because I have the message I'm getting across in the music, per se. And it's still emotional. You know what I mean? I'll make some beats and I'll play them back, and I'll be having tears because it's taking me somewhere. I don't know where, but it's taking me somewhere of joy. You know what I mean? The older you get, I'll be 50 in a couple of months. The older you get, it's almost like we depend more and more on the nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? To keep us happy, per se. And what better way to bring that upon through sounds, through eloquently crafted sounds. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yo, man. Like, that's exactly what I feel when I listen to your music, man. Like, it's like, there used to be this thing about, hey, your music should only be like 45 seconds, 90 seconds, a minute and a half or so. I'm like, bruh, like, how can you even get out a full idea in that span of a time? Like, the way that you craft your music, I feel like you don't put a limit on your time of what it took you to create this beat, because you have like maybe 10 switch ups in your song, yo, and I'm listening while I'm mowing the grass. I'm like, yo, he really just made like 10 beats in this one track, yo. Like,
yeah, you're gonna get this work. Yeah. You know, I got that from listening to jazz and realizing that why do we, you know, we suppress our creativity in a sense. I'm like, I have all these different ideas within the song that I want to get out, you know what I'm saying? And I'm arranging them in a way where it's hard for you to stop or exit it once I'm doing these switch ups. And it's almost like, why would you want to listen to 2 minutes of a song and then switch it when you know there's another 3 or 4 minutes of it left with other stuff that and the switch ups that I do, you know, you have to listen to it to know what they are or when they're coming or something like that.
Yep.
Or even if they are coming, you know, per se. So, you know, of course, people who follow the you know, E+RO, they envision that. And a lot of people love the music just because of that. Like, I have friends who tell me, bro, I'll listen to the first 10, 15 seconds of your song, and I'll immediately go to the 3rd or 4th minute because I know you're switching shit up, like that type of stuff. But yeah, you know, don't suppress your creativity. You know, I've never done or created music for the purpose of having it on the radio or having it in the clubs or having it somewhere. I'm just making music. I close my eyes, it's out there. It has a life of its own. You know, most of my songs, I want to include a lot of different elements to them. So that's why they're generally long songs. You know what I mean? Is everybody going to listen to the whole thing? Maybe not. I get it, but I think you'll listen to as much of it as you need. You know, I don't really, like, a lot of people make, you know, the 1 minute songs and stuff like that. That's cool. I get it, whatever. But, you know, you're not expressing as much as you possibly can within the 1 minute. Maybe you are, or maybe you feel you are, or whatnot. But I'm like, that's just, again, my music reflects what's inside of me. I got a lot going on inside of me. Maybe you know, maybe some people don't want to truly share what's going on inside, and this is on the surface is all they want people to kind of. And again, you know, this brings me to a good point is the music maker that existed before the pandemic and the music maker that was created from the pandemic. We have a whole bunch of content creators that make beats. So they're beat makers per se, but they're not into the art of performing it like I am. They're not releasing projects like I am. They're just kind of creating music. They're Instagram famous, and that's great. You know what I mean? But, you know, I don't think that you can compare what I do. I feel like I'm an entity in a sense. So if you see my name on a flyer or if you see me in person, you kind of know what you're going to get. And,
a show.
And that is, you don't know what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? I've never played 2 of the same beat shows ever. At this point, since I've been doing live shows literally since 2008, since the Beat Cypher Collective, I've probably done close to or more than 500 live performances.
Wow.
Over that time. And I really can say I've never done the same beat set like ever again. I played same beats over many times, but I've never done the same set or how it's done. And that's kind of like the opposite of a lot of people who do what I do. A lot of them have done hundreds of sets and they've done the same set every single time, or, you know, not varied from it a lot. You know what I mean? Once I release music, I don't perform it after that it's released, you know, because if somebody's recording me and I'm playing my song and, you know, it's on YouTube, they're gonna be like, oh, this is copywritten. We're like, yeah, it's copywritten by me, nigga. But why I gotta go through all that, whatever. Like I post it, whatever, and then as soon as I post it, it's ding and it's muted everywhere. And I'm like, this my shit though.
Mm.
So I don't do it. And funny thing is, I do the same. I have the same mentality when it comes to like releasing or just posting remixes or flips on Instagram or Facebook. I don't do that anymore, dude, because a couple of years ago when I was doing it, I was getting ding every single time. I don't know if it was Instagram algorithms, if it was somebody like, dropping a dime. I don't know, but I remember I would post a flip and within seconds, Instagram is taking it down. Like, damn.
Wow.
And it's crazy because I see everybody now just posting nothing but like obvious sample flips or whatever and nothing. I'm okay. It's just when I do it, this is what happens. So, it's just weird. My algorithms have always been very weird when it comes to social media.
You different, bro.
To be honest, and this is one of the last things I wanted to say. I don't believe in social media numbers. I really, really don't when it comes to streams and stuff like that. Because I've seen it, like a lot of it just doesn't, the math doesn't math. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like how many people, how popular you are, how many people are viewing what you're doing, and how many people are circulating it. Like a lot of it just doesn't really add up. Like my numbers, like on Spotify, for example. I know, a lot of people don't really mess with Spotify anymore. A lot of artists and a lot of them or whatever. But I'm like, one day it'll say I have 35 followers. Next day it'll say I have 800 followers. Next day it'll say I have 15. I'm like, and it does periodically, like every 3 or 4 days, it just changes to something crazy. I'm like, I don't know what to believe. I have no idea, whatever. All I know is that I have literally over like 300 something total thousand streams. That's what they're telling me. Yet I probably made less than $50 from Spotify over 7 or 8 years. I'm like, okay, something ain't adding up. So it's to the point now where I'm like, okay, I just don't believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of cats I see who are having millions of streams or something like that. If that's true, you should be doing a lot better financially than what I see. If that's true, you know what I'm saying? Or are they jerking you? You're not getting, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of OGs are speaking out about this now. They're like, dude, streaming killed the real street business of hip hop, as far as moving units and stuff. Like Daz was on live the other day. He was like, I have CDs in my hand. He's like, these are units. Like if I sell these, I know how much money I'm getting. He like streams like you have no idea what it is. You just don't or whatnot. You have to go by what it is, their reports. And I don't know. It's just whoever made that deal from the artist perspective, I just don't get it.
Yeah, man. There's been a lot of talk about, and that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of the OGs going back to actual physical, vinyl, cassettes, CDs, and stuff like that, and not putting like case in point, man. Rhapsody and Madlib, right? They came out with an EP, but the EP could only be heard if you bought the vinyl or the CD. Right? So it's not on DSPs. It's not on a website where you can play it. No. So like Curtis, I'm trying to remember his last name, man. He's a content creator. He's a dope artist too from Cali. Man, he played the album. I seen it on Curtis King. There you go. Yes. So he had the album. Boom. I think he had permission from either Madlib or Rhapsody. I don't know. Either way, the album is dope. But you can only hear it if you have the vinyl, CD, or cassette. I think that's the way we need to go back to, man, to put value back into the music, man. Like,
yeah, I just think that, putting music on the digital platforms, I think it's good in a sense where, you have music out there that's going to live forever. So it can eventually rotate around to different, ears in due time or whatnot, per se. But looking at it from a business perspective, it's a raw deal for the artist. I don't care how you look at it. It's a raw deal for the artist putting music on digital sites, digital streaming. And again, it's you don't know your real impact. you don't know who's really listening or who's not. You're going by which I think by now, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I just think by now AI is controlling social media algorithms in a sense. It's learned so much. Speaking of AI, and you knew we were gonna touch up on this, is the whole Timberland and the whole stealing beats thing. You know, it's a shame. It really is. But I think that it's just putting light to what's going to, or what has been happening, or what's probably been happening a long time. But what's going to be happening is people are going to be using AI for not so good things. You know what I mean? Including moguls and stuff like that. Did he need to do that to basically rip the guys off, his beat off, and keep his producer tag on there, which was not very smart? He didn't have to do that. Whatever. And it's like, okay, he just got caught doing this, whatnot, and you know, I don't think anybody really appreciated the bullshit excuse or apology or whatnot. But I'm like, dude, it's like, did you make Pony? Like, we're questioning your whole catalog, bro.
Cootie Fresh. That's his name that he stole that beat from, man. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, like did you? I don't know, man. It's just, we're just in a time right now where the rules just don't have any value in anything right now. And
yeah, it's the Wild West, man. Yeah.
Well, this is technology, this is the Pandora's box we're in. I'm like, no, it's like, it don't have to be that way. Well, not everybody is going to be that way. So,
right.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate because I was so disappointed when it all came out and literally, like, that's literally what he did. I'm like, no, dude. Because, you know, I consider he was one of the guys who inspired me back in the day.
Right.
Like, he, you know, can't nobody front of his catalog, but that's kind of messed up. Anyway.
Man, so okay, let's turn some fun back into it, man, because that was a sad situation. But let me hit you with these bonus lightning round questions that I have, man. That I just started with Kershaw and Don, man. Episode number 128, I believe. Go check that out, internets, if you haven't already. Nod your head, stop by. But I'm gonna hit you with a question, man. It's just a real quick answer. I think you'll get a kick out of these too. So, all right, here we go. Number one. First memory of performing live in California.
First memory of performing live. I did. Okay. This was in 2007. I had, in December of 2006, I went to Juju Social Club. They had a white party. Now, back in the 2000s in LA, Juju was the spot for creatives, that real Frohemian flavor. Still is, but it was like unsaid. And that day I went there, we were in the green room, which they had a green room in the back, whatever. And in the green room, we would always have the beat makers would come and play their beats on the boom box, like literally on a CD. It was DiBiase playing beats back there. All the rappers would come, would have ciphers. He'd take a CD, I'll give my CD, whatever. We would do that a lot at Juju. So on this particular day, I met this young lady. She had a clipboard out there and she was prospecting for a show she was putting together, getting everybody's information, name, email, stuff like that for the beat makers. She called it the Beat Cypher Collective. And the idea was it was going to be an open mic performance for beat makers, Project Blow style. Like, you know, you only have a few minutes to say what you got to say. If they don't like it, they're going to tell you, please pass the mic type of stuff, like under pressure kind of thing. So anyway, Dara, I'm telling the story of how I met my current wife. This is how we met. I actually wrote a screenplay about it in school. So anyway, a couple of months later, she had the first beat cipher and I missed it. And I don't remember why I missed it, but I remember a buddy of mine, Dimmer from RTN. He told me, he was like, yo, you missed the beat cipher, dude. It was dope. He was like, dudes playing beats like yours. Like the type of beats you made, they were playing. I was like, yeah, because again, before that, we didn't have it wasn't a space for, in the closet beat makers like that before that. And so I went to the very next one. I remember I contacted Dara via email. I was like, hey, I'm sorry I missed it, whatnot, and whatever. So came to the next one, and I signed my name on the list as the first performer. I don't know why I did that. I was just excited. And so I came and I played, and back then we didn't want to play. You didn't want to be the first one in there. But I played a beat. I remember it was a beat I had that actually had a switch up back then. It was really, really long. I had some samples from, it was it was like spooky samples or whatnot. So it was like some Halloween samples or something I had in there, whatever. And I played it and it switched up. And back then you was going to mic, say your name, and they had the CDJ, which had a couple of different effects like an echo stuff. So everybody's doing the same thing. We're playing our CD in there. And I just remember I was scared. First time ever playing beats, and it switched up and I'm hearing the oohs and ahs, whatever. And so stopped it over, and I just look up and folks are just like looking at me like start like clapping, like yo. And I wouldn't say standing ovation, but I got a applause. So it was like, wow, I'm here every month now. And so that was like literally the first time I played beats. I've never gotten booed or humiliated or something like that. I have played beats before where I didn't get the feedback or anything that sounded of applause. I've been through that before or whatnot. But the Beat Cypher was something else. So yeah, that was my first time. It was back in 2007.
Wow. Okay. Next question. Favorite venue from your live performance archive, like places that you performed already. And that's a long list. You got over 500 beat sets.
Oh yeah. Let me see. My favorite current place is Juju Social Club. The love and the energy and vibration there is unmatched. And it's blue black. When I say blue black, it's blue black. I played at let's see. I played at the Coliseum. I've played at Burgers and Beats, Beat Cinema, Organic Beat Sessions, Lo-Fi Dena, Soul Clap. I played at see, a lot of these places a lot of these physical locations don't have venues anymore. The Mountain Bar, I played at the Airliner, where Low End Theory used to be at many times. I've played at a lot of different places. The funnest time, like I said, I had was when I played at X-Fest up in Nevada City last year. That was great. Rhymefest, LA Coliseum, that was spectacular. It was kind of like I was more of a fan the whole time. Like 99% of the time I'm there, I'm just geeking over everybody in one location. So yeah. Oh no, actually, me and my partner, Abstract Butterfingers, shout out Bella Italy.
Yeah.
We played at a spot out in Temecula, California. This was back in like 2012 when we were called Slimmy Heart, and when we were doing our label Cypher and Label. I forgot the name of the show, but me and Bella had a routine when we performed as a duo. Like we would play beats, do some live shit, and then we would stop. We would do our pose for like a certain amount of time and get back into it. It's kind of ill to watch. But that was a dope show we did out there. I played at the LA County Fair in Pomona, at the Poetry Fest. Shout out Judah One for that. That was earlier this year. That was dope. Yeah, I mean, you pick one. But again, my favorite place and the place I feel the most comfortable performing is Juju Social Club. No
I got you. Okay, next question. What's one plugin you can't live without right now?
Right now, the one I'm using the most is the Serato Hex, which they just came out with an upgrade on that. I haven't did the upgrade yet because I'm just stuck on it right now. It has all these different presets in it that are just really, really, really dope. I've just really like started dabbling in that earlier this year. I would say historically, um, I would say I'm mostly known amongst my peer beat makers um, for having a, I guess, a signature filter, if you will. And I use about 4 different types of filters, but the main feature that I work and really work is what we call the wah-wah filter. Most DAWs have some type of wah-wah filter, so at some point you'll hear that in my sound, and at some point you'll hear something in the song reversed at some point. It's also kind of like a signature of mine, very fast. And of course, the switch ups, which are basically just second parts of the beat. That how most people would have a riff where they'll just play it. What I'll do is I'll cut the riff in half and I'll stretch out each portion, and I'll just take the second portion of it and make a total different song or different part of the song.
Wow.
That's an E+RO secret right there, by the way. So yeah, I would say my filters, definitely.
Got you. Okay. Next question. Go-to food after a late night session.
Go-to food after a late night session. Well, I know my way around the kitchen pretty well. Considering I wouldn't say most of the cooking, but I do a lot of cooking for a family of 4. I like in my air fryer, I have a dish that I do that's not very complicated. It's basically steak with Brussels sprouts and onions, and basically that's what I use in the air fryer over rice with some corn on the cob and salad.
Nice. You keeping it with the good foods, yeah.
Like I said, it sounds extravagant, but it's really not. I do it a lot.
I like Brussels sprouts with over rice, man. Especially like saute, like you cut them in half, put some salt and pepper. You know what I mean? Let them. Man, it's so good. But okay, I'm getting hungry right now. Dream collaboration in 2025.
Dream collaboration in 2025.
I think you're already about to do it in October.
Well, that's interesting. Most of the artists that I've collabed with and are collabing with currently are West Coast based artists. Obviously, I'm in LA, but it would be interesting if I did something with an international artist. And it doesn't necessarily have to be hip hop or rap. So I don't know. I don't have anyone in mind per se, but I've always kind of like, wanted to do something like maybe with an Afrobeats artist or a garage artist or something like that. Again, nobody in mind. In terms of like a local talent or a local legend, I'd say, honestly, some guys that I admire as a group, and they recently suffered a loss, is Living Legends, West Coast, LA, Oakland-based Living Legends. Rest in peace to ASAP, Black Wolf just passed away literally the day after Rhymefest. But yeah, those cats are really, really dope. I've met Murs a couple of times on occasion, and we've kind of entertained the thought of possibly working together. But I think like he's probably like, I know that this album he's doing is, or he's just released supposedly his last or his retirement album or something like that. Which is always interesting when rappers can't retirement or say retirement.
Right?
Like you can retire from putting words together and getting paid to say them in front of people.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm dabbling with the OG legends here in LA. Like I'm forming relationships. Well, I've had relationships with these guys for a long time, but I feel like I'm forming an artistic relationship with a lot of them now. Speaking of our legends like Freestyle Fellowship, Legend Medusa. Um, I've done work, and I'm working with my man John Q, the wordsmith, who's like one of the dopest off the top dudes you're ever going to hear in life. My man MC Random. I've done work recently with my man Destruct. I got a project that I'm working with my man Alpha the Alien, formerly known as Alpha MC. Also, I got Mora Q. I have a song I did with Monstro, aka Stro One, from West Coast Creations. These are all on the Voices of Fire project, by the way. Yeah, that's going to be coming out in October, November, around my birthday time. I want to possibly work with the legend Abstract Rude. We've actually talked and kind of hinted around it, but he's always working on the move, whatever. We got very similar birthdays we share. Let's see. I would say, the ultimate hit list would be, work with Madlib, Flying Lotus. I would say The Alchemist, but The Alchemist is kind of like, he's kind of like on some extra different level, and the rest of the world is under him kind of thing right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's on a crazy run right now, especially with the whole Erykah Badu project that they're doing.
Man.
But so yeah, I know that's an extensive list. I know it, but slowly but surely, I'm knocking them out. And the great thing about this, and I have a project I'm coming out with Tech the Super Latin soon, aka Brother Maz. That's gonna be crazy. Tech the Super Latin is the son of legendary beatboxer Click the Super Latin from LA. So do your Googles on those names. Yeah, appreciate that, Susie. The audio effects series, 6 weeks. Trade School is where I do Lo-Fi Dena. Trade School is in Altadena. That's ran by my partners Arden and Casey Anderson. And Trade School is exactly what it sounds like, a trade and school. So it's more or less we're doing art with an educational twist or foundation under it as well. I'll be doing part of my E+RO Beat Academy classes at Trade School as well. And he has a whole bunch of a lot of different excellent programming that goes down there. So make sure you look at that. Their website is gototradeschool.org, or you can look up Trade School Altadena as well. And of course, I wanted to touch on, the whole Altadena fires along with the Palisades fires.
Yeah, speak on that. Yeah. How are the efforts going with that?
From what I see, the efforts are starting to roll in really good. It seemed like it was very slow for the reaction and for, the initial cleanup, if you will. But I live about 2 miles south of the immediate burn areas. So it didn't, my place didn't burn, but my children both go to school in Altadena. And so a lot of their peers and a lot of people at their school administration suffered huge losses. And so, the dynamic of our area has, of course, forever been affected. But, we're doing our best to build up the, just the spirit of this area, because, looking at it, like driving through it during the daytime, it looks like a bomb hit it. But I see like there's hope, and I know that the resurrection of Altadena is going to be even stronger. But one thing that did come out of this is I think that it's put a lot on Altadena, on the history of Altadena and what it really is. I think a lot of people truly didn't understand that Altadena was predominantly a Black-owned community that was put together, a Black-owned artistic community, rather, that was kind of put together spiritually, over time. There was a time when Black people, when they came to California, it was Silver Line, what they call Silver Line, where, there was only certain areas that they would rent out to us or allow us to buy property. And so Altadena happens to be in an unincorporated area of Los Angeles, which is kind of like an exemption from that scenario. And so a lot of Black families move out there, and I don't know the percentage of Black, but I know it was very, very high at one point. And they just so happen to be the dopest artists in the world, the dopest musicians in the world, the dopest writers in the world, the dopest sculptors. They just so happened to be in that one area. You know what I mean? They had their own community for them that was built for them. They had their own parks, own schools, on, that type of stuff. So that's what burned down. It wasn't just when we say, it was a black community, we thinking, projects, or we thinking the negative side of it. Like, no, this was a very, very affluent Black area that had generations, like people, who were born and raised in those homes, like that are my age or even younger. Their parents lived in that home. Their grandparents grew up in that home. You know what I mean? So the just the loss of knowledge, wisdom, history is just it's just sad. It really, really is. And it's only so much of that can be preserved. And so,
wow,
yeah, that's kind of like what happened, if you will. So
see, that's the part that the news doesn't cover, and the deeper stories behind that area. Is there anything that you can tell us right now, or how, like, the internets and the people listening to this podcast, that anything that they can do to help with the rebuilding efforts in Altadena?
Well, there's several different outlets from what I remember that can take any type of donations, or any type of any type of resources that can help them out. I know there's Altadena City Chamber, or I'm sorry, the Chamber of Commerce is one resource you can use. You can even hit us up at trade school at gototradeschool.org, and they take donations there of any type. Anybody local who want to give anything to help out in terms of canned goods, children's things, supplies, games, stuff like that. All that stuff is definitely needed at all times. There's also a place out there, I can't think of it offhand, but if anyone, who's listening and you are interested and want to help out somehow, some way, just contact me directly. My email is soulclapla@gmail.com. And, I can definitely direct you into a good resource, or a good entity that can help out in that way.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna include that in the description of the show as well. Man, is there anything else that you want to say to the internets, man? You want to leave your, like, how they can follow you on, your link tree, your Instagram, your X, websites, anything
Don't
like
do
that.
X anymore, though, by the way, ever since the orange guy came back. But yeah, my name is E+RO3, aka Erozilla. On most of the social medias, I'm at Erozilla, EROZILLA. You can search for me again. It's E+RO = 3. If you just put Erozilla, I don't know what comes up. There's could be some Brazilian stuff come up or whatnot. So, not everybody can find me. You got to do a little bit of thinking to find me there. I'm on Bandcamp at ero3music.bandcamp.com, ERO3music.bandcamp.com. So I would say that's the primary way you can support me. My link tree is at Erozilla. I believe if you write that in the URL, it's link.tree/Erozilla. And it has all of my hyperlinks right there. And I'm everywhere. If you're in LA, check out. I usually have my show schedule on my link tree. So I usually do anywhere from 2 to 3 shows per month. I do a monthly venue at Juju Social Club called Vibe and Flow. It's an open mic where we invite singers, dancers, rappers, poets, musicians of any type. That's there. Lo-Fi Dena is the last Thursday of every month in Altadena. Again, that's the Open Beats sanctuary that I have for us beat makers there. And I usually have 1 or 2 features there. Right now, my host is MC Random, and it's been great. You know what I'm saying? E+RO will be at X-Fest in October. Again, I got those music projects coming out in November and December. Probably New Year, I'll do another Sincerely Eddie release as well, but who knows? And yeah, the E+RO Beat Academy starts in October and it's going through November. In fact, the 6 weeks for the students who sign up, at the end of 6 weeks, I will feature anybody who's ready to perform at the Lo-Fi Dena. So that's actually my planned feature for the month of November, is my students from the E+RO Beat Academy. Other than that, you can catch me in Leimert Park every week. I'm at Chaos Kids, which is Chaos Network on the Peeper Street. Let's see, last week we for my Baba Ben's, my father-in-law Ben Caldwell, his 80th birthday, the city of Los Angeles granted him his own day. So August
Wow.
30th in Los Angeles, Leimert Black area pretty much, is Ben Caldwell Day from here on out. So that was great. We had a ceremony for him this weekend. So yeah, I'm in the village, I'm in the Dena, I'm in them streets, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so thank you guys. Appreciate everything you've done. Go to mine. I appreciate you. I appreciate the rec show. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to tap in periodically to get you guys caught up on me because, I do a lot, and it is nice to be recognized and to, just to be known that there's a audience that's not here that is appreciating what I do and supports what I do. It means a lot.
Yes, sir. Hey, it's our pleasure to, to recognize you, man. You're doing crazy, amazing, good works, man. So I really appreciate you, even from afar. Like, it don't matter how far you are. Like, I can see it. I know your heart is in it, man. So thank you on behalf of everybody that's going to be listening to this, and tapping in. I just thought about something, man. I'm about to, because I want to help you with the E+RO Beat Academy. So I'm gonna buy your discography by Friday. Okay, so your whole Bandcamp discography,
Yes.
I'm gonna buy your whole band on behalf of the Rec Show, man. I'm gonna buy that whole discography. I know I already got like maybe.
Yeah, you got a few joints already.
I got a few
but
joints.
it's mad joints you ain't got, so absolutely, yeah.
Exactly. Let me tap into that, man. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do, man. But Erozilla, man, it's always a pleasure having you back, family. You know what I'm saying? You family here, man. So anytime you want to pop up, go ahead, pop up, man. Let me know, and we do what we do. But
I appreciate it.
internet.
And you know
man.
something? Honestly, you in Austin area, right? Or
I'm in San Antonio area.
San Antonio? Okay. Oh, okay. You right by. Okay, yeah, I know where you're at. I got folks right there in Santa Fe that I'm going to be visiting in Santa Fe and Deming, New Mexico, which is not far from where you guys are at. But I'm gonna try to to pull up on you at one of these days and we'll chop it up in real life in person, have a session, and do the whole nine.
Yes, sir. I'm all open for it, man. Just let me know.
Right on. And I remember last time we were trying to put together this idea of a huge beat festival out here in California, which that idea is still floating. And I just feel like I just need to get with the right curators to do so. And that's something that's, we really want to do. You know what I mean? It's going to happen soon.
Yo, let's do it. Yo, I'm excited for what's to come, man. I'm super excited. Like, internets, how can you not be super excited for what's to come? The ideas are brewing. I feel like the tribe, that concept of the tribe is coming together. So I probably never left, but I feel like even more now, just because of this digital, whatever it is, people are kind of like turned off to digital and they're really coming back together to build stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a big major thing that we need, especially in these times, man. So yeah, I'm excited for you, man. E+RO, I'm gonna be tapping into your socials, man. I'm gonna see how this class is going. It better be a major turnout. Matter of fact, when you start promoting it, let me know. And I'll promote it on the Rec Show podcast, Instagram, and X as well, man.
All right. Well, I'm not expecting major turnout, but I'm gonna do some work to get the right students in. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, I don't have a certain number in mind per se, because if I'm maybe it's meant for me to only have a certain finite number of students this go around. You know what I'm saying? It'll eventually, it'll eventually be like the X-Men Academy, where we'll have class after class after class, and it'll eventually be that way. But right now, it's just I want to improve each semester, because I have a lot more tools to offer them. I have a lot more things to offer the students this go around versus last go around. So yeah,
Let's go. Mutant Academy, man. Professor E over here, yo.
Yes, sir. Without the wheelchair.
Without the wheelchair, man. Listen, internet, y'all tap in to Frigid, man. Support Beat Pimpin' and all the other albums he's got on his on Bandcamp. Follow him, run up the streams, keep the community alive, man. That's what he's doing. It's been part 2. But something tells me we're going to be running it back real soon as well, man. So y'all stay tuned to the Rec Show podcast, man, where, it's all about, it starts with the record, then we talk about the music, man, and that's what it is. We like building on this podcast, man. And, we building from all over the world, man, not just where I am in Texas, not just California, all over the world, man. So if you're putting out dope music, hit up the Rec Show podcast. Let us know you putting it out. And that's it for this episode, y'all. Y'all keep it locked for some more. And peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Okay.
What up, everyone? This is Goodful from New Jersey.
This is Jomi Beat.
This is Sens Beats.
Tatsumaki.
This is Tita Einstein.
This your boy T.
Yo, this your boy Bundo.
I'm Vicky Cassis.
Yo, what's good, fam? This is Double A, aka Beats by A. Just want to let you know you're plugged into the Rec Show podcast with Golden Mind. Keep it locked.
Represent every living person on the planet. The white lights are humans. And these are the mutants.
They tell like younger kids or other producers like that's cheating. You can't really be samples, but bro, like when it comes to this producing shit, you can do whatever you want.
You've been listening to the Rec Show podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Remember 3 things. Believe in your music. Take care of your mentals. Become the best version of yourself. Until the next one, Golden Mind signing off. Peace and love, yo.
To be the best, you got to work overtime. To be the best, you got to work overtime.
These young boys getting better. This is not like the NBA when you